Well, I'm just leaving Capitol Hill, and brace yourselves because we are headed to a government shutdown. So what exactly happened? Well, tonight, Senate Republicans forced a vote on a bill to keep the government funded. Democrats blocked that. They say they will not agree to keep the government funded until Republicans agree to reverse cuts to Medicaid and also to extend expiring Obamacare subsidies so that healthcare premiums do not go up for millions of Americans. Republicans say they're willing to talk about all that, but not while the government is shut down. So here's the bottom line. There needs to be compromise in order to avert a government shutdown. There is not compromise at this point. So what does this all mean? Well, it means that 4 million federal workers could go without pay. That includes 2 million troops and also TSA workers, air traffic controllers. It's going to be another long day tomorrow. Democrats and Republicans have already left the Capitol, so I am heading home too.
So it's official. As of midnight last night, the U.S. government has shut down. This ain't a drill, and it's not just politics. This is going to hit people hard, especially folks like us. Now, I know government shutdown might sound like something far off, like some mess happening in D.C. that don't really affect everyday people. But let me break it down for you plain and simple. It does. It affects workers, families, students, healthcare, food benefits, everything. If you get a check from the government, if you're on Medicaid, if you've got student loans, if you work a federal job or know somebody who does, this shutdown just became your business. And even if you don't, it still matters because when the system breaks, we're the ones left trying to pick up the pieces. So what happened? Congress couldn't agree on a budget in time. Midnight came, deadline passed, and now we're in shutdown mode. That means federal agencies close up, workers get sent home or work without pay, and millions of people are left wondering how they're going to make it through. And let's be honest, when America coughs, Black folks catch pneumonia. We've seen this before. Our communities are always hit first and hardest when things go wrong, whether it's healthcare getting cut, food stamps delayed, or rent assistance frozen. It's always us holding the bag. So stay with me and let's talk about it. And if this is already hitting your life in some way, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from y'all because this ain't just news, it's personal.
First government shutdown in nearly 7 years. Yes, this is happening. It officially began at midnight because lawmakers and President Trump failed to reach a deal. Both sides are now in a bitter fight over spending priorities and blaming the other. According to one estimate, up to 750,000 workers could be furloughed every day, costing them $400 million in pay every day.
Usually these shutdowns get headed off because one side blinks or there's a last-minute agreement, but this time neither of those things happened. And so as of this morning, the federal government is technically out of cash. How long will it last? No one knows.
After Congress failed to reach a deal last night, tens of thousands of federal workers will be told to stay home today, furloughed without pay. Workers deemed essential, like air traffic controllers and members of the military, will stay on the job, though they won't get paid for now either.
Most TSA officers live paycheck to paycheck.
Aaron Barker works for TSA in Atlanta.
If it gets to that point where officers can't afford to come in or have to make a decision whether to purchase medication, pay daycare, or put gas in the car to come to work, they're going to have to make that hard decision, and no one really wants to do that.
But they may have to, because late last night, a funding bill did not pass the Senate. It needed 8 Democrats. It got 3.
You know, the only real victim here is the American people. This is so unnecessary and uncalled for.
Democrats were holding out for an extension of Obamacare premium subsidies and changes to Medicaid.
Our guarantee is to the American people that we're going to fight as hard as we can for their health care.
President Trump is warning his administration might use the funding lapse to push through more mass layoffs. I asked him about that yesterday.
How many federal workers do you plan to lay off?
Well, we may do a lot, and that's only because of the Democrats.
Later in the Oval Office, he upped the ante, claiming that all the workers who lose their jobs will somehow come from one party.
We'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and they're Democrats. They're going to be Democrats. A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
The uncertainty has left workers like Barker to wonder if their jobs could be on the chopping block.
It's one thing to say, hey, you may not get paid, but then to say you may not get paid forever, we're going to remove you from your job, is a whole nother thing. It's just the worst case scenario.
President Trump continues to taunt Democratic leaders about all this on social media, posting another AI-generated video of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, which is similar to an earlier one that Jeffries called bigoted. He also posted these photos of their Oval Office meeting on Monday with Trump 2028 hats prominently displayed on his desk. A nod, Tony, to a potential third term that the law does not allow.
So let's talk about who's affected first. Number one, federal employees. Up to 750,000 government workers are going to be furloughed without pay starting Tuesday morning. Okay. So we're looking at, I don't want to say Tuesday morning. I want to say Wednesday morning. So let me back up. Let me recant that. Now, essential employees such as air traffic controllers, TSA officers, Border Patrol, and military personnel, they still have to report for duty without immediate pay until the shutdown ends. Okay. Now, air travel and transportation, the FAA will furlough about 11,000 employees, while 13,000 controllers and 50,000 TSA officers are going to continue to work unpaid. You can expect delays in flights, inspections, and certifications. Health and research agencies are also impacted with this shutdown. So the CDC will close about 64% of its staff. The NIH will retain only emergency personnel. Okay. Public health surveillance, disease tracking, and research programs are going to be paused during this time. Now, let's talk about those community service programs when I come back. All right, let's talk about those community services. Head Start programs, housing assistance, and some nutrition programs like WIC may actually see temporary interruptions depending on state funding reserves that are set in place. National parks and museums are going to begin closing gates and visitor centers Tuesday morning. Benefits and payments. Okay, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and VA benefits will continue since they are quote unquote mandatory spending. New applications and processing for small business loans, passports, and permits will pause. Did you catch that? Now, let me tell you how this is going to affect everyday life. Okay, so how it affects everyday life. It's going to be some delays. We talked about that. So with passports, small business loans, and new federal grants, those will be delayed. Community impact. Local governments and nonprofits that depend on federal reimbursements, childcare, housing, or food aid programs could face those funding gaps unless, of course, those gaps are already being replaced or there is a space in state funding to cover that gap. Economic strain. So now analysts estimate $400 million in lost wages every day that the shutdown continues. Now that's going to slow local economies where federal employees live and actually spend money. So the House of Representatives is adjourned until October 7th. Y'all heard that right. October 7th, meaning the impasse could last for at least 1 week unless members are called back for an emergency session. Okay. Labor unions have already filed lawsuits challenging what they call an illegal RIF firing orders. Okay. Essential workers will keep the country running from air traffic safety to healthcare response, but their paychecks will be delayed. Here's what you can do. You can check your federal office status by visiting USA.gov, and then you're going to take a look at the agency shutdown status, okay? If you receive federal pay or benefits, direct deposits, or Social Security, Medicare, that's going to continue. New benefit claims or updates you may find will be delayed, okay? For travelers, allow extra time at the airports. Remain patient during this time, since we're going to experience some travel delays because of TSA not being in position. Okay. Now, what you can do is go to TSA.gov and check for wait time updates, if at all possible. SBA loans for small businesses, those applications are probably going to freeze. So check with local lenders for bridge financing if it is available. And here's another thing, stay informed, stay connected to your community, to brownstoneworldwide.com. We're going to continue to stay informed with our little team here as much as we possibly can. And we're going to keep you guys updated as this crisis evolves, because this absolutely is a crisis. So y'all, this is more than politics, and I need you all to understand this. This actually affects paychecks. It's going to affect housing and healthcare and services that hold communities together. Okay, so what we need to do during this time is, number one, identify who you voted for. Remember that. Stay patient, stay informed during this time, and check on your friends and family who are going to be impacted by this. Now, what I'm hoping for is that they get through this and we're able to move forward, because we have seen government shutdowns happen before, but this one seems a little bit different to me. Okay, now we'll continue to keep you updated as soon as we get the information, and maybe you're doing something else or you don't want to be overwhelmed. That's what we're here for, and we'll be providing you with credible information with our news with news sources. There won't be any fear mongering throughout this or whatever. We're just going to give you the facts, and you do with it what you want. Okay, you take the rest, use it to your advantage or whatever, and throw out the bones, throw out what you don't want. All right, so just facts and clear guidance from us. And here's something else, y'all. Stay informed, stay empowered. Remember, we're still the people, and stay woke.
Well, they f***ing did it. They shut the government down, bro. They shut the government down. And what does that mean for my service members? Well, they didn't create a payout act. So until they resolve this issue, you're not getting paid. Service members will not be getting paid until this issue is resolved. How do you tell a soldier to come to work if they ain't getting paid? How do you motivate a soldier? They got bigger shit to worry about. They gotta figure out their bills. How you supposed to handle that and maneuver that? Yes, you get back pay whenever they fix this. But come on, bro. Come on. Navy Federal and USAA are offering, or will be offering, loans with 0% APR. So essentially, they're just going to give you your paycheck, and when you get your back pay, you pay them back. But this shit is just, I don't know, man.
So here's the bottom line. A government shutdown is not just a political event. It's a policy failure. It's a breakdown in leadership. And it shows us, once again, how disconnected the folks in power are from the everyday people they claim to represent. Real lives are on pause right now. Federal workers are clocking in without knowing when they'll be paid again. Families who rely on SNAP or WIC are now facing uncertainty about how they're going to put food on the table. Small businesses that depend on federal contracts or tourism dollars from national parks, they're feeling the ripple effect too. And let's not forget, shutdowns don't hurt the wealthy. Congress still gets paid. CEOs and lobbyists still sleep easy. But regular working people, we're the ones carrying the burden. Again. And when you look at it through a black lens, it's even deeper, because we're often the ones holding up government workforces, nursing homes, postal services, TSA, the so-called essential jobs. Yet we're treated like we're expendable when the system collapses. This ain't how a functioning democracy is supposed to operate. Holding the entire government hostage over partisan drama is reckless. It's not leadership, it's chaos. So my message is this: pay attention, stay informed, and speak up. Don't let them tell you this is normal. It's not. And we deserve better. If this video hit home for you, drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let's keep this conversation going. Because the more we understand what's really happening, the harder it becomes for them to keep playing games with our lives.